conversation with amazing women. And, a lot of times when you're in the presence and when, you're with other women and you are in the process of just learning, and you're evolving and you're growing, you just begin to have different conversations. So I enjoyed my conversation with the women that was on the trip with me, and I am very grateful to have had that time. So today, my topic of discussion that I would like to talk about is being honest with yourself. I think it is very critical that we take and we do the mirror effect to ourselves. A lot of times, we want to sit and sometimes say, hey, this isn't my fault. I didn't cause this. I never wanted this to happen. But a lot of times we have to get to the root of things and from which they grow from. And we have to learn to accept, and we have to take some responsibility in the choices that we allowed ourselves to make. So really my topic of discussion basically is time to be honest with ourselves. And I believe that once we begin to be honest with ourselves, we can stop putting fault on others, because a lot of times the things that happen to us, whether we want to really face it, or whether we want to really be honest with ourselves, it's self-afflicted. And I say it's self-afflicted because a person is only going to do what you allow them to do to you. So in that process of just being honest with yourself, you have to really look at, where you are. You have to look at the things that have affected you, the scars that you're bearing. And I believe once you begin to acknowledge those and you take responsibility from them, then you can begin to move forward. And you can begin to look at stuff in a broader light, other than just being like, this person hurt me, or, this person, I felt, they used me or they played me, because sometimes we get ourselves involved in situations and it's there. A person is telling us who they are. A person is showing us what they're capable of, but we want to be blindsided. We don't want to see it. We don't want to realize, that this is who they are. And when a person begins to show you who they are, you have to only believe them. So a lot of times I just feel like we have to just be honest with ourselves. And sometimes we can't look at that person and be like, you know what, you did this. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and you say, I allowed this to happen because I wasn't really in a place to where I was honestly ready to make that initial step to be with that person, or I didn't make the initial step to even be able to be a friend to someone because I didn't know how to do it from the jump. So I think, with things and with life, we have to be honest. We have to be honest, and we have to be real, and we have to have that one-on-one conversation with ourselves instead of always looking around and pointing the finger or making a comfort excuse. I can only speak for myself, and I can only speak from a place to where I was once at. And I was once in a position to where I felt only good enough to receive certain treatment from a person that I was involved with feeling, because I myself didn't see my self-worth. I myself didn't see that I was strong. I didn't see that I was beautiful. I didn't see, the beauty in myself. So I basically got into something that I was not prepared for because I was broken, because I had issue. A lot of times I look, and I had to ask myself at some point, why am I so like snappy, towards guys at times? Why am I so, they can just say the wrong thing to me and I'm ready to just go ham on them. Like, don't talk to me like that. Don't come at me like that. Don't. And I had to look at it, and it was because the stem of it all was because I was angry with my father over some issues that I felt when I needed him to be there, he wasn't there. And maybe in that he didn't know how to be. And I never ever sat and had that discussion with him, or I never expressed to him, how he made me feel at a point when I needed him, when I was in a vulnerable state, in my life, and I needed him to be there, and he wasn't there. And so in that, it made me angry. In that, it made me really have a issue with men. And it was all because the root of it was because I was upset with the man that I felt was supposed to be the first man that I fell in love with, the first man that took me out on a date, the first man that, showed me how a man was supposed to treat me. And I didn't receive that from him. So to a certain degree, it left me lost and not knowing how a man was supposed to treat me. Even though my mother displayed it, and what she allowed and how she allowed a man to be in her life. However, sometimes it's vital to have that father, or even that father figure there, to be able to help you with certain things. And we don't understand that sometimes it's the root of a situation that stops us in our tracks from being able to be in a whole another situation years later. And we sit and we often, I feel as women, we take on, I'm strong, I'm independent, I can be by myself, and I'm okay with that. When in all actuality, I feel that every woman wants to be loved. Every woman wants that partnership. Every woman, wants to feel like she doesn't have to carry the load alone. But honestly, if we be honest with ourselves, and I'm living in my truth, we don't know how. We don't know how to accept it because we're afraid, because we've never been taught, and because a lot of things is a learned behavior. So if I'm rejecting something, it's because out of fear. It's because it's making me uncomfortable. It's because I know no other way but to shut something down if I'm not receptive or if I'm not understanding. So a lot of times I think that we have to go back to the root of things, even in dating, even in having friendships. We have to go back to the root of things, and we have to be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves. Don't put yourself in a situation if you know that you're not capable of producing certain things. We'll put ourselves in a position and we'll want this out of a person, we'll want that out of a person, but we're not able to produce, and we're not able to give what we're asking for. So I think that it comes a point in our lives to where we really have to be honest. We really have to make a conscious decision and asking ourselves, you know, am I really capable of being this individual that this person needs me to be? Or am I going to get into something because it is stability, because it is comfort, and because what it looks like? You know, we put ourselves in positions so many times, and then we complain about it, and we brought it on ourselves. We brought it on ourselves because I believe before committing to something, you really have to overall look at it and be like, you know what? Can I really commit to this when it get hard? Can I really stay committed to this when, you know, it seems like it's stressful? Can I stay committed through the ups and the downs? Or can I just stay committed when everything looks good? Can I weather the storm with this person? Or can I weather the storm with this business? Or with what I'm asking for? Like, can I endure? And a lot of times I think we have to really have a conversation with ourselves. We really have to learn to embrace the hurt, the pain, the rejection, and at some point we have to deal with it. We have to release it, and we have to evolve. And a lot of times we don't understand, you know, why is it not working out? Or why is this not going the way I need this to go? And it's because a lot of times we're not being honest with ourselves. We're not being honest with ourselves. You know, we get in something just because it's comfortable or just because it's convenient. And you're not a convenient person. Like, you're not a person that has to accept anything. And realistically, you have to know, when you not accepting anything, the person of interest or the person that you may be with, they don't have to accept it either. We play the comfort excuse game. And we'll talk all around the board and just saying, you know, well, I ain't really doing this because, you know, they don't deserve it. Or I'm not doing this because, you know, I tried it this way and it didn't work, so I'm just not going to do it. No, just admit you're scared. You don't know how. And you might not be ready to accept the fact that it just might not work out. So instead of harboring something, or instead of just trying to hold on to something because you invested time, because you say that you're in love with this person, or you're in love with whatever it is that you may be doing, and just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Like, be honest enough to say, you know what? I bit off much more than I can chew, and I have to release this, because it's somebody out there that is going to adore you. It's somebody out there that's going to be able to navigate whatever it is that you were trying to put together. It's going to be somebody out there that's going to be able to help you. So a lot of time we have to release things. We have to release individuals and allow them to find the right place. It's like a puzzle. And when you're putting a puzzle piece together, there's no possible way that you're going to be able to force something. And realistically, though you may want to be, you know, this puzzle piece, you just may not fit. And you have to be honest enough with yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to step back because this is not meant for me right now. Or I'm going to try and trust because I'm tired of being alone. Like, a lot of times I have to check myself, and I have to check my attitude, because I'm a very verbal person. But I understand that everybody can't take that. And a lot of times it was a defense mechanism for me, because I wanted to show, oh, this don't get to me, or I don't care about that. When all actuality, it bothered me. It got under my skin, and I had to be realistic. I had to be honest. And it's time out. Like, it's time to be honest with ourselves. It's time to give ourselves the mirror effect, and it's time to really, really be truthful. And a lot of times the truth hurts. But in that, the truth sets you free. The truth allows you to move forward, to let go, and to stop harboring. I don't know, where everyone is at in their life, but I know from me personally, there is a crossroad between living in denial and living in truth. And I am at my place of truth. And truthfully, I've made poor decisions. Truthfully, I've fucked up. Truthfully, I haven't been everything that I knew that I could be. Truthfully, I failed, and I felt like it was no repairing. Truthfully, I didn't know if I would ever connect with somebody where they would understand how I move. Truthfully, I didn't know if I was capable of loving and being loved the way I needed to be. Because I was hurt, because I was broken, and because I needed somebody to blame, because I didn't want to live in my truth. I didn't want to accept the fact, that I didn't always see my full potential. I didn't always see my worth. I didn't always see my value. And when you begin to live in your truth, those things begin to turn around, because you begin to look at yourself. You begin to look at the things that really cause this affliction. And you begin to want to cure, and you begin to want to remedy. Now, it's some of us that will always, play the blame game. And it is always some of us, that will be afraid to accept the truth. And that's all right. But for those of you that are out there and you're on a search to finding your truth, embrace it. And just be honest with yourself. It's nothing wrong sometimes with stepping back to take some steps forward. The only person that you should be concerned with being at peace with and making happy is yourself. Because once you begin to be at peace and you begin to learn your self-worth and you begin to see certain things in you that really makes your soul happy, it's going to begin to be a reflection out to others. So you don't have to explain, oh man, I'm loyal. Like, man, I ain't never going to cross the grain, or I'm this, I'm that. It'll show. I am a person that moves off of action. Actions always speak louder than words. I never assume anymore what things look like, because sometimes we can really be fooled and we can really be deceived. So it's time to start being honest with yourself. And when you begin to be honest with yourself, some doors are going to close. Some gates are going to open up. Some windows are going to begin to open up. And some change is going to come. And you know what? I celebrate with you, because where your truth lies is where your journey begins. And if you continue to follow your journey, follow your path, You'll have everything that you need. That person will be there for you. That support will be there for you, because you'll be at a different place where you'll be receptive and you won't be trying to push away. The statement hurt people is very true. Whether we want to believe it or not, whether we want to embrace it or not, but it is true. Hurt people hurt people. So you have to learn how to change some things up for you. And I think the perfect start is being honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself. So, as I end this, I hope everyone have a great, amazing day. My voice is a little under the weather right now. But I want everyone to know that there's no age limit. There's no expiration date on finding yourself, being honest with yourself, and starting your journey. We all have a time to where it'll be our time to evolve. But in that, you still have time to make things right. You still have time to mend situations. You still have time to go back and accept truth. So in that, I hope everyone have a great day. I want you all to please go subscribe to my page, Trust the Process Bold Blogging. And if you guys have any topics, anything that you want to discuss, I will be the face of the discussion. I will pose the question, inbox me. Let me know if there's anything that you all would want to talk about. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. So, till then, continue to soar high and continue to evolve and step out on whatever it is that you want. And always, always remember to trust your process.